think we are day 15 of this self-quarantine. I took a little time off. I started out at the beginning when we were first hearing about this pandemic in America. It had already been going on since January over in China, but we started really getting serious about it maybe two or 3 weeks ago, to really understand that we need to quarantine ourselves so we're not passing this virus between ourselves. At that time, I decided to stop my 100 strategies and skills to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to be, including communication with other people, so I could focus on the coronavirus and talk about that and how we can take care of ourselves in the midst of this. This virus is actually a serious, serious thing. So what I decided to do was say, look, I am not the expert. If you want to find out about the virus, go to Dr. Fauci, go to other experts on that subject. What my expertise is in is communication. Communication between me and me, within myself, my own self-relationship with myself, and then communication between me and others. And I realize that where I can do the most good during this self-quarantine due to this pandemic around the world is to teach what I actually know, what I am actually an expert in for the past 30 to 40 years. And that is communication. That is creating an energetic environment between ourselves and the people we are with. And what better time to do that is right now, when many people feel stuck at home with their families. There are many people who are in deep gratitude that they get this wonderful time to spend with their families, and there are other people that just are pulling their hair out and they want to get the hell out. I really would like to do a live cast where I can hear your concerns and you can ask questions, and I can talk to you about ways that you can communicate in your homes to get along better with each other, to raise the energy in the room, to hear each other, to listen to each other, to create an environment where people feel safe, protected from the virus, and maybe from fighting with each other. I mean, I know families can be, living in a family can be difficult. Siblings can argue with each other, parents and children can argue with each other. What I want to do is I want to facilitate your ease in the environment you have in your home. I have gone out to many corporations and taught employees. I've gone to schools, I've gone to churches, I've gone to anywhere where there's groups that want to get along better. And I do believe that it is so important that we learn how to speak to each other and listen to each other in a way that keeps us strong, keeps us comforted, keeps us protected. I mean, this is where we have to be right now. When I was in 7th grade, I can remember walking home from school. And I played sports, so sometimes I was after school, and sometimes I stayed at a friend's house after school, and it got late, and the lights, the sky got dark, and the lights in people's homes would go on. And I used to walk home and kind of look in the windows, and I wondered, what's happening in that home? What's happening over there? Is someone getting yelled at over there? Is someone getting punished or hit? Or is there someone crying in that one? You know, what's happening in that one? I used to ask myself that, because when I was young, I looked around at my family with my 3 brothers and sister. There were 5 of us. And there was a song that I remember, and the song was, "Can't we stop hurting each other? Gotta stop hurting each other, making each other cry, breaking each other's hearts, tearing each other apart." You remember that song? You remember that old song? Some of you are too young to remember that. But I used to sing that song in my head because I'd look around at my family arguing with each other. I'm like, why are we arguing with each other? And one of the things I noticed is oftentimes we are arguing at each other and we're both saying the same things. And I'd be like, you're both saying the same thing. Why are you yelling at each other? Why are you mad? Why are you angry? But today, of course, after 30 to 40 years studying this, what is happening that causes us to treat each other in certain ways, I realized that we did that because that was all we knew. That was what we knew. We treated each other the way we knew how to treat each other. And so I think that my purpose right now during this pandemic is to teach people what I have learned from the time I was very young, asking these questions. How can we stop hurting each other? How can we treat each other better? What can we do? When oftentimes we're saying the same thing, but we're yelling at each other, we're fighting with each other, we're separating ourselves from each other, we're pointing out and blaming each other, and we're not listening to each other because we want to win. So it is my I don't know, sacred honor, my honor, a blessing, that I feel that it seems all the conditions of the universe have gathered in just the right way to bring me here to talk with you today. I'm not talking to you as a guru or the knower of all things. I'm talking to you as a human being, just like you. And I have been just like some of you in the situations you are today, where you're like, why is it so hard just to be understood? Why is it so hard for me to be able to hear this person who's talking to me right now? Why do we keep doing the same thing? I have been there. And right now I'm happy to say I live with my mother and we get along great. But we came from a place of letting the way we treated each other, it was like we were surfing the tides of circumstance. And we just let our circumstance dictate to us what a mother is supposed to be, what a daughter is supposed to be, what family is supposed to be. You know, we have all these stories in our heads about what is an aunt, what is an uncle, what is a father, what is a mother, what is a child. Children are supposed to, what is that one? They're supposed to be seen and not heard. You know, don't interrupt adults. Obey your elders. Or mothers are supposed to be all giving and all loving and unconditional. And daughters are supposed to be dutiful and say yes and obey. Or wives are supposed to obey. Or husbands are supposed to make all the money and support everybody. We have these stories in our heads about what we're supposed to be. But what we truly are is human beings. And so I'm not coming to you as someone telling you what to do. I'm coming to you as someone who has felt in my heart that I wanted to know. I had a deep, what do you call it, urge, a deep, I want to say passion, but it's almost a desperate need. There we go. I had a desperate need to figure this stuff out. And I have, because sometimes, you know, when I'm talking about what I care about most in the world, sometimes I feel like it is so important that I want to cuss about it. So I just want to see if this works. I had a desperate need to figure this out. I think that works. All right. So this is my my sensor. All right. So so I'm going to share some things with you today, and they might help, they might not, but it's not the right way. It's not the only way. It's just some things I've learned, and hopefully something that I might share with you could possibly help you to get along better in your families, especially now at this time that we're kind of locked in with each other. I know you can go out and go for a walk, and which is a good idea. Keep yourself healthy, keep yourself feeling good. But I it's my intention to give you some information that, and some actual things you can do, some activities and some little the simplest things you can practice to help you get through the next 5 minutes with your children, or the next 5 minutes with your parents, or with yourself, so you can find some little skills and strategies that make your life better. Like I know I've made my life better.